interesting response to the last episode.
Oh, yeah? What'd you do?
The shooter buddy guy, he
okay.
he sent me a message, and he's like, "Oh, this is hilarious. You guys are great. I love this show. It's good." And then he gets to the end. He's like, "Wait, what do you mean that's not that good? My shooting?"
Uh-oh.
And I had to clear. I was like, I don't know because I'm not listening to it. So I listened to it, and I got to say, it sounds pretty good, like quality-wise. I listened to it at work while I was doing some work.
Yeah, it pops.
Yeah, there's some pop to it. And no, I told him it's more about how when you told me how much you shoot, I'm like, you definitely need to be shooting more than that.
Yeah, that's where the bar is.
And the title. I think a lot of people are into the title. I had someone tell me today on Facebook, "Oh, I can't wait. Tonight I'm listening to Please Don't Shoot the Ceiling." They're really into the title.
Yeah, I love doing the titles of the show. Because the old show...
You're so good at it.
It would just be the name of the movie. Just fine. Get those hits, I guess, or try to. But this is just like, what were you talking about? Jim said something funny. Oh, yeah, that guy said, please stop shooting the ceiling. That's good enough.
Please stop shooting the ceiling. Yeah, whatever it was cleverly titled and people really liked the title.
Yeah, well, that sticks with you,
Yeah, last week, Dale, let's get right into it. Last week, we were talking a little bit about Ms. Ronda Rousey's debut.
Yeah.
And you said, okay, let's see. I said, maybe this was almost like Donald Trump getting elected, because there were the people that didn't want to admit how bad it was going to be. And they said, maybe he's a really great president and he just trolled everyone to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, maybe she's Kurt Angle. She's a superior athlete and, just it's not the same, but her dedication and will and maybe she's just the next Kurt Angle. So what happened with that?
It's funny you have that Donald Trump comparison, because I have a similar one to... I remember fucking election day, and it's coming in, and things are looking pretty good for old Donnie T. And I'm sitting here going, not in a million years. I know it looks bad. Connecticut's coming. We're gonna be fine. And never in a million years did I think that would happen, and it did. And never in a million years did I think they would give Ronda Rousey a live microphone. Not this early. I thought they'll give her a mouthpiece. Eventually, she'll snap and she'll do a passionate promo or something, and it'll be great because we've seen her acting. We talked about this. Day one, they give her a microphone because it's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and they're going to do a contract signing, which always ends in a clusterfuck, which is fantastic. It's just a trope. It's beautiful. And Triple H and Stephanie are out there. They're like, "Oh, trendsetter, legend in MMA. We're so happy to have her." Just hyping her up, which is you have to do that.
Yep.
And they call her out. Bad Reputation plays. She comes out in a jacket that fits a little bit better than Roddy Piper's old jacket.
She's still smiling.
She's still smiling.
Okay.
At first she had a little bit of that strut, that little bulldog strut. And then she went to slap the hand, and she just couldn't do it. She couldn't hold it in. And she, baby-faced hand slaps to the front row. And she gets in, and she doesn't say anything. She just kind of stands there while the professionals do their job talking into the microphone. "Oh, Kurt Angle's here, and he's happy to have you too." And all this. "Here's the contract right here on the table," because we have a table in the ring because it's professional wrestling. And all you got to do is sign it. And Kurt Angle just starts snitching in the most hilarious thing I've seen in WWE.
What do you mean snitching? In what way?
Well, he starts giving up some insider secrets to some things that Stephanie and Triple H were supposedly saying. He says, "Hey, Triple H, didn't you tell me not too long ago you were super happy about this? What'd you say? We got the bitch for 3 years?" And that gets a look from Ronda, and I'm like, just have her look mad. She actually pulled that off very well. What the fuck did this motherfucker? She had that face.
Did she look mad at Triple H, or did she look mad at Kurt Angle, like maybe he's playing her?
No, she looked mad at Triple H.
Okay. I didn't know if they were going for like a deep psychological thing, you know.
Because one thing I noticed, you know, she gets in the ring and she shakes Stephanie's hand, does a little bow. She shakes Triple H's hand, does a little head bow. But she straight up hugs Kurt Angle. Like there's this nice, legit athlete bond between them. So that was kind of cute.
Okay.
But Kurt starts spilling the beans, and Triple H is like, "Motherfucker, shut up!" And he's just like, "You know what? He's got the flu. Kurt Angle's got the flu. It's been going around. I'm gonna get him out of here, and you guys just do the contract stuff here. And Kurt, follow me. What the fuck are you doing?" And he ushers him out of the ring and up the ramp. Kurt Angle still has a microphone. It's just hilarious. He turns back to the ring.
Remember the other thing?
Yeah, and he does, because now it's Stephanie and Ronda in the ring, and he says, "You know, you can't trust these people." Stephanie, what did you say about Ronda? She's a has-been, and that even you could beat her ass.
Oh God, that's good.
And another big pop, another evil look, and she gets in Steph's face, and Triple H gets back in there to try to play, you know, peacekeeper, and Ronda ends up doing some sort of suplex to Triple H through the table. It was a weird mix between like a back suplex and like a side belly to belly thing. But she picked him up pretty easily, slammed through the table. Pretty cool spot. Stephanie gets all hot about it. Oh, yeah, that guy. And she hauls off, slaps Ronda Rousey like a man.
Does she smirk though? Ronda? No,
but she does this thing, and she did it about 20 times in this 5-minute segment.
I hope it's good then, because she did this thing. She did it about 20 times. Oh God!
Well, once you notice it, you'll never unnotice it. She always like swoops her hair from left to right, and I don't know if she's trying to play to the camera or if maybe this is just more comfortable for her, but she's always adjusting her hair from left side to right side or right side to left side. And it was hilarious because the goddamn cameraman's trying to get the facials, and this fucking woman just keeps throwing her hair, you know, onto the other side. So this cameraman's like, well, now I got to get to the other side to get the face shot.
She can unlearn that, I think.
And because like they're dying for it. You just got slapped in the face by Stephanie McMahon. We want to see you look angry. Show us that rage. Show us that badass Ronda Rousey rage. And we can't see it because you're doing the hair thing.
I'm sure they talked to her about that right away.
Probably. And
so what did she do to Stephanie? Did she do anything?
No, Stephanie's like, I'm sorry, and leaves.
Uh-huh.
So that's the cliff notes of what happened in this segment. But I guess we want to talk about what happens before that, when she has the microphone in her hand.
Yeah,
she talks,
because everything you just described sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's well booked in the back. In theory, on paper, they're like, "Hey, got a hell of a little segment here." But then you have to have the players that can execute it.
And you want to see her clobber Stephanie, and you got to wait. Right, that's what they're building up to. They want to see her just manhandle Stephanie.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a crowd that just wasn't into the whole show. They were kind of antagonistic all night, and everybody knows what segment's next. This is the Ronda signs a contract segment. So Triple H and Stephanie come out, and they hype her up and they call her out. And Stephanie's like, "I want to be the first to welcome you to WWE," and and everyone's like, "Shut your fucking mouth, bitch." Like, let her talk. We want to hear Ronda. Please shut your mouth. And Stephanie says, well, you heard them. They don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you. And she hands her the microphone. And the first thing Ronda Rousey's, and I stood up. I said, somebody's music's going to hit. There's some sort of run-in. She takes the microphone. She puts it up to her lips. And she says, hey guys.
No.
Not great. And she has one or two lines, and she struggles through them. So, like I don't often get tongues flustered, tied, and it's amazing to have Kurt here. He's a legitimate gold man, Olympic.
Let me show you how to throw these shotgun shells down range real fast. Hold on, they're on the ground. It was sort of like that.
Yeah, you feel kind of bad. It's worse than that, because that guy sounds like he deserved it. This poor woman, it's like they know she's not ready. She needs some performance center booth time with somebody who can cut promos. And who's back there now? Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman's back there showing her how to cut promos, Jim.
I think I hate doing this. It's not fair because I don't know these people, right? I think she's a little too. She's probably in a little too much of a fragile state for this right now. Because let me tell you what you should do. You have her come out, everyone's like, "Yay, Ronda," and then you have her turn heel right away. Because let's not beat around the bush. Let's not pretend like everyone's still in her corner right now, because most people aren't. And you have her just burn them down right away. You fans turned your backs on me, and you just have her shit in their face and then leave. Just walk away. And then people would, because she'd get some real ass fucking heat. Well, I mean, yeah, you can't hide from the fact that people soured on her, but you also can't hide from the fact that she's still a pretty badass chick. Oh, she's badass. And for the WWE, it's a pretty legitimate acquisition. And when she did come out, there were like boos, like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're like, this is all a stunt." But by the end of it, with Kurt Angle saying that, they called you a stupid, dumb bitch who's a has-been, and then she slams him through the table. She was over as a face. They, like, when she got slapped, they were like, they knew, like, this is triggering it. We're gonna get the rage, and they were behind her 100%. And you could do that longer. You have her come out. You have her say, "Fuck you, fans. You're all cheering right now. Where were you when I really needed you?" And shit on them. And then you have her ally with Triple H and Stephanie, which is not what anyone wants to see. And then you turn her face. You get some sympathy, and then, she'll have that moment where she beats the shit out of Stephanie, and I don't know. Yeah, well, everybody debuts as a face. Why? I don't get that. It's the surprise. It's happening. It's 2018. She's not a wrestler. Even though like the Smarks wanted to shit on her and hate it, like I said, by the end of it, they were eating it up. And I agree, she's probably going to work better as a heel, but you just write out the face thing before you can. You get your big WrestleMania thing right off the bat, and if she's bad and she can't talk, and then you use that and you make her go heel, and you get Edmund. Get that motherfucker. No. Yes. Get him. Please don't. Do you want her to be a heel? That okay. Get him. Go. It's heat. Instant heat. Oh. You have him he would never do this though. He's too much of a proud Armenian. But you have him work an angle where he starts managing other people and then they can't win. Then they keep losing matches. And he's just pulling his hair out, like ripping his pockets, like, "I'm broke. Head control. No, head movement. No. Oh. And if you have a moment where her time as a face is over, and you want to like shit on her as a heel and like make her the butt of a joke, you just have somebody play that. You just have somebody's like entrance music be head movement. Yeah, so it looks like that's going to be the Mania match. Ronda and Kurt against Stephanie and Triple H. Too much too soon. That's what I think. I mean, yeah. I understand it's different. This day and age. I just hate it because, like, it's good because Stephanie and Triple H are very good at being bad guys. They're going to make it easier for her. But at the same time, it's just like, I know you fuckers just want all eyes on you. Entertainment Tonight's going to be talking about Ronda Rousey fighting who? Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie's just at home schlicking it up. Just, they're talking about me on Entertainment Tonight. It's not just who she's going up against. It's just, it would have been cool to get a little bit more steam going into WrestleMania, But this day and age, everything is like, it seems like they're booking for like maybe a month in advance tops. Yeah, and even though I like Asuka winning the Royal Rumble, I mean, seeing how it's all playing out, just have her be a surprise entrant, dominate, win that, and your first introduction to Ronda is
she kicks some ass. They protect her. She looks good, and she earns this WrestleMania spot. It's like her first, singles match is going to be at WrestleMania because she earned it. And if, according to the Royal Rumble, if that's anything to go by, she's going to win. So now you're starting to build that. Like, is she going to be this dominant force here? But right now, it's just like a celebrity. It's like Hugh Jackman's here.
Yeah,
the Jackass guys have arrived.
That's how they're treating it. Have her wrestle a real woman wrestler and try and, give that a little bit more eyes, too,
Yeah.
Because her match is going to be like a big deal. People are going to be talking about it and everything too. So why have it? Why it just seems too gimmicky. It just seems too gimmicky of a match.
Yeah.
Like have her have a real feud with a real woman wrestler instead of this shit.
Can you think of a wrestler who's stiff? Wooden, like Lance Storm was wooden and sometimes intentionally on the microphone. But can you think of somebody in the ring who's just like, God, they move so slow and awkwardly and they kind of expose the business? And while you're thinking of that, I bring it up because she had like 2 little moments in this where she gets in Stephanie's face and Triple H puts his hand on her shoulders like, calm down, lady. And she throws his hands away. She does like, get off me, bro. Mm-hmm. And it didn't seem great. And you're going to have to do that night in, night out. And a lot more. And if it's going to look like that, they're going to ask her they're going to be like, here's your $5 billion we paid you. Just leave.
Goldberg?
He had some fluidity, like just
some.
Like
some. But that's probably the closest I can come. Someone that where it's unfortunate because that athletically they could do anything you needed them to do in there.
Well,
but just don't have the grace.
Because I think of Goldberg and I think of him in the corner preparing for a spear, and he's kind of like on the balls of his feet, and he's kind of mobile and he's just fluid and he's ready to strike. And well, if there's any sort of chain wrestling and stuff like that in the middle of the ring, he was kind of slow. I just worry about what those matches are going to be, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I think Goldberg wasn't a fighter. That probably helped. I think any sort of real fighting training probably makes it harder. It's got to be hard to unlearn that muscle memory. And what we saw with Stephen Amell, where that would be great if this was like a drama show. But that's not wrestling selling. You're selling it a little too much. Yep. It's its own art form. And I think even though she can really fight, sometimes a real fight for a fake fight just doesn't look how you want it to look.
There are a couple clips floating around from, it might be the Performance Center, but she's training in the ring with, I think, Shayna Baszler, who's another MMA chick who's in NXT, I think. And they're training, and she gets thrown into the turnbuckle, and it looks really bad. But she hops up onto the second rope. Shayna moves in, and Ronda grabs her and does this armbar thing and does a little flippy flop and gets her into an armbar. And it looked really good. The setup to it was the worst thing I've ever seen. But we all know she's very good in close quarters. When she grabs you and all that stuff, she's very good at that.
I think if trainers aren't afraid of sort of treating her like everyone else, then she can get good. But I think if everyone's afraid that she's going to just leave or break down or, whatever, go cold emotionally, or I think if everyone's afraid of that and they don't want to really train her, then it's not going to get very good. But I think she probably doesn't want that. I think she's probably wanted this. It's probably been a fantasy that she's thought about for a long time. So I think if they just treat her like someone that's really gifted athletically that needs to learn the basics and get it, do it till you get it right. I think she can. I think the one thing about the pro athletes that competed at an elite level is that they know how to train hard. They know how to put the time into something to get really good. So maybe there's hope for that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I think she's going to be bad. She's not going to be the worst, because you know who is the worst wrestler? Let me tell you, Jeff Jarrett is the worst wrestler. Now,
not according to Dude. What was his name?
His name is Zach, and he's a listener, and I thank Zach for posting on the Not Like This Facebook page, because last week I issued a challenge. I said, if you guys know any good fucking matches with Jeff Jarrett, let me know. And Zach posted, not just one, but 3 matches.
Yes, he did.
And I said, challenge accepted. I said, dailymotion.com, and I watched 3 matches with Jeff Jarrett. And the first one he listed was from 1995, and it's a match against Shawn Michaels for the IC title.
Okay. Shawn's had some very good matches in his career.
1995, Shawn Michaels.
In his prime, you could say.
This is prime Shawn Michaels. It's hard to have a bad match against Shawn Michaels. It's a pretty good match, Jim. Jarrett does a DDT in about the middle of the match that's just fucking shameful. But I mean, it's Shawn. Shawn takes a back body drop over the corner turnbuckle, like out from the inside of the ring over the turnbuckle to the outside of the ring. He's just like,
back when we just had baby blue mat outside, right?
yeah. He's like, who am I getting over tonight? Jeff Jarrett. I'm gonna have to fucking kill myself.
I'm gonna backdrop myself over the turnbuckle onto the floor.
He's talking to Gorilla Monsoon before the match. He's just like, I think this is the night I die, Gorilla. Because I have to put this motherfucker over. It's going to be the hardest thing I ever do. Because he did. He needed Shawn to get over here. The roadie was a big part of the match and the angle. This was before the roadie was outed as the guy that sang the song and all that stuff.
Who's the heel, Jarrett?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And there were so many lady screams for Shawn. It was crazy. Boy, did they love him. But it was a good match. I looked up all the star ratings for these matches. Meltzer gave it a 4.5. So I said, are there any 4-star matches with Jeff Jarrett? Apparently, there are. And this was one of them. It's not a bad match. Boy, it bums me out. It's from In Your House, 95. I actually want to suggest it to our listeners. It's not a bad match. The striking's good. The pacing's good. It's Shawn Michaels, you know?
How long are we talking? 12 minutes?
No, I think it's close to 20. And
wow.
It doesn't feel long. It's there's some good stuff. Jarrett's a better striker than I give him credit for. He throws a decent punch. So, and I'm a sucker for a good punch.
Yeah.
The second match was against Chris Benoit. It was a ladder match.
2000? 99?
This was 99. Yeah, WCW, 1999. Chris Benoit ladder match. Jarrett had a match earlier that night, and now he's got a ladder. It's WCW, 1999. It begins with a promo from Benoit, and he was so slurry and scary, and he didn't even answer the question because it was like a mystery challenge. So I think it's Mean Gene's just like, Chris Benoit, who's your mystery opponent tonight? And Benoit, he already had some pre-programmed thing he was gonna say.
Yeah.
And he just said it. He's just like, well, maybe we'll find out in the ring. Back to you guys.
What's wrong with you, Gene?
And so Benoit's out there and he's waiting, and the music hits, and it's Jeff Jarrett, and the announcer's like, it's Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett?
They announced it with the Christopher Walken cadence.
Yeah,
they were Poland is Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett.
Because that was my response, but I think the reason they were confused because, like I said, he had a match already earlier that night. So I think they were like, "Are they fucking up the music? Did they?"
Are they
Jeff Jarrett?
Are they TNAing us right now?
And Jarrett comes out and he cuts a promo on the way to the ring, and it's really bad. And he's slap nuts, and I think this is very close to what he says. They call you the crippler. When I'm done with you, you're gonna be the one that's crippled.
Wow, that's like a brick from Office from Anchorman.
Yeah.
Where did you get those? The toilet store.
The match itself, this ladder match, it was decent. I wouldn't call it good. They did some unique ladder spots, some ladder things that I hadn't seen before. Not many botches. Benoit's very good. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with his work.
This one wasn't very long. I think it's around 10, maybe less. If he bust Benoit open, I don't know if it was hard way, but it looked good. Like there's like in a Chris Benoit match, you have to go after him, or he's gonna make life hell for you.
Right.
If you go soft. So once again,
those chops. Oh god.
Yeah. So there's some good spots. I wouldn't point to this match if I'm promoting Jeff Jarrett. That Shawn Michaels match, yes, but this one, it was fine. I mean, Nitro had a lot of these hidden decent.
It's more of a Benoit match.
I think so. I think so.
I could see. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Oh God. When I don't want to get off track too much, but when you would watch him chop people in the corner, I really think I would die. I think you would. I think my heart would stop. Like he chopped the shit out of people. Yeah, and one thing I notice every now and then, and it happens a lot in New Japan, and these guys chop like maniacs as well. Yeah.
They hit the neck. Sometimes you fuck up and you miss. You don't hit the chest and you hit the neck.
Pinch someone's artery closed and they just die in the ring.
Can you imagine you're bracing, like here he's going to chop me 3 times and he's going to send me in. And you're just like, okay then. What the fuck did you do?
You just pass out because you have no blood circulation.
Oh.
Man, motherfucker's chest would be like, you'd see blood vessels all busted open and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough back then for me to watch because the concussion stuff wasn't really top of mind. But I'd watch Benoit chop some people in the corner. I just think, Jesus Christ.
And I think he had to because a lot of times, like they didn't look that like he was a little guy.
Yeah, he was short.
So if it didn't have that big smack noise, it looked kind of weak. So he really had to get in there.
Yeah. Man, he looked strong. He looked like he was probably a legit, really strong dude.
Yeah. Third match here against another jobber named Kurt Angle.
Really?
So we have Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle. This is TNA.
Everyone in their prime in this one.
Yeah. This was a cage match. This was alpha male rules or ultra male rules.
What the fuck does that mean?
Oh, you're familiar. What do you think that could be? It's a cage match. What kind of rules could you have?
Alpha male rules.
I think that's what it was. I saw one thing listed alpha male, another thing called it ultra male, and I said I'll put both.
I don't know. No climbing on the cage. So alpha male wouldn't climb up there. He's too tough.
I like that guess. I actually like this gimmick because when they said alpha male rules, I said TNA. What are you doing? The first fall had to be won by submission. The second fall had to be a pinfall. The third had to be won by escaping the cage.
Okay. They could call it something cooler than alpha male, right? Because I agree. That sounds cool. That's a cool twist.
I like that.
Please don't call it alpha male or ultra male. Either one of those is horrible. Please call it something different.
Yeah, that's why I went with alpha male because I was like,
American male rules.
I'll edit this for you and call it alpha male. What the fuck is ultra male? So this was the weakest of the 3 matches. That
sounds like a Pornhub category, honestly.
Oh no,
ultra male. Ooh.
Muscular men. So Jeff Jarrett slaps the figure 4 on Kurt Angle less than 3 minutes into a 20-minute match. And I don't like that.
So there's a submission, right?
Well, yeah, but it just makes the move look bad to me because Angle, like, this has to be like a snap submission because no one's going to sell a leg for 20 minutes, especially Kurt Angle, who's in a cage. You know he's climbing. You know he's going to do some shit. But I didn't care for that. The match also had 3 run-ins in the final 5 minutes.
Ooh. A cage match? You don't usually. I wouldn't usually peg a cage match for having 3 run-ins in 5 minutes in the end.
Yeah. Kurt the wife was in there, Karen, some other motherfuckers. I tapped out at one point, but there's a good. She hands him the guitar, and he hits Kurt Angle with it, and it's just a toy.
Is it just? I mean, I just think it's common wrestling sense. It's just common sense, kayfabe stuff. The purpose of the cage match is like, look, this has been building up for a while. We're gonna lock in that cage. No one's coming in or out. It's just you and me. It's sort of like the build up to an angle, right? Where you're like, there's gonna be no interference because we're gonna be locked in this goddamn cage, and somebody is coming out the winner.
Yeah,
and then you have 3 run-ins.
Well, I mean, because a lot of times you are going to have that heel who's that, chicken shit. So it might be brewing real hard for the face. And it's like, I'm going to get you, Ric Flair. I'm Sting, and I've had enough of your shit. Ric Flair's going to say, whoo, fuck you, and try to leave. And, I mean, Jeff Jarrett's, a Ric Flair clone. So he's...
whoa. Wannabe.
Same thing.
He's a Ric Flair wannabe.
This is true.
Ric Flair clone would be like Ric Flair caliber.
So my favorite part of this match is the end. So I think it's tied or whatever, because of course it's tied and they're trying to escape the cage. And there's a tug of war. She's trying to pull Jeff out, and Kurt's got his leg like, no, I'm not done with him. I'm gonna win. Chair shot. Jeff Jarrett escapes and he falls to the floor. He's been busted open during this match, and he's on the outside victorious with his wife Karen. And apparently in the script she's supposed to kiss him. Uh-oh. But he's bloody as all hell.
She pats him on the back.
She does the quickest, most awkward I've ever seen. Okay, I pull him out, he wins, and then I kiss him because he's my man. Fucking call an audible. It was gross.
Oh man,
it was gross.
What if she threw up on his face? That'd have been the best.
That would have been the best. That would have been the best. That was a 3.75 stars for Meltzer.
Yeah.
The Benoit one had 4. So yeah, I issued the challenge. Are there good Jeff Jarrett matches? It seems there are. You really have to search for them, but they're out there. And thanks to Zach for getting involved.
You mentioned Shawn Michaels putting him over, like wrestling wise, but could at any point was he sympathetic in the mind of anyone? Was he like a character that anybody ever wanted to see, period, let alone see him succeed? No, never, right? I mean, how can you have you're right, he's just terrible. Yeah. I'm not even saying like his work, I'm not saying that his work is horrible or whatever, but just, I don't know, as a character, as a guy, he could never get over. He sucked as a heel.
It reminds me of The Miz, but The Miz grew, and he had different, he was always kind of a prick, but he was different shades of prick, and he had a couple babyface runs because he's just always there. He's always here week in, week out, and people notice that. And when you get passed up and you have that promo, like, what the fuck? I'm here every day, and this motherfucker's out making movies, blah, blah, blah. People get behind you, and so there's some growth there. There's some variety, but Jeff Jarrett had a guitar,
Yeah, no one was ever behind him. I would imagine
they didn't even want to say, I'm gonna go to the United Center tonight because Jeff Jarrett's gonna get his comeuppance. Nobody gives.
No, nobody gave a shit.
Still don't. Miz though, The Miz, people be like, John Cena's gonna put him through a table. He's gonna put him through a table.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Like $1 Million Man was always a heel in WWF, but he was a compelling heel. He was really good at it. That was a guy where I could never imagine him being a face in WWF. He's just too good in that heel role. But it wasn't that with Jeff Jarrett. It's just he just comes off so unlikable that I can't ever imagine him getting any sympathy with the fans ever.
Yeah, and I saw Jeff Jarrett interview, and I don't know if it was kayfabe or not, but
probably not then.
Well, it was on WWF TV, but it was kind of he's kind of shooting. But if it's on TV, it's
right.
Probably kayfabe. But he essentially said, I didn't want to do the Jeff Jarrett, country star gimmick. That's not me. I didn't like that, but I did it. I'm doing my job here. But then I'm thinking, well, you've been doing it. You kept doing it. You're still doing it. The fuck are you talking about? If you didn't like it, why didn't you change it ever? Like right now.
Yeah, we wouldn't have complained. It's not like you're letting the fans down if you stop doing it.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if Hulk Hogan was like, I just didn't want to keep doing the Hulkster thing, but I didn't want to let the fans down. It's another thing if you're like, if the fans don't like you, then just do whatever you want. None of them give a shit. Dale,
Exactly.
I have usually you get to speak. I'll ask you about screenwriting and things like that, and you get to speak from a position of your authority, of what you know, what you're good at.
To speak. Mm-hmm.
We don't talk a lot. We don't talk a ton about me playing in bands. We talk about sometimes my process of writing and that type of thing, but I've been in several bands since I started playing the guitar.
Yeah, no stranger.
No stranger to it. I've played hundreds and hundreds of live shows. Some of them were really successful to thousands of people, and it was really fun. Okay. I've probably been on, like, an audition for a band is something where I consider that you're answering an ad or something, right? I've been in more bands than I've been on auditions. Some of them were in school, grade school. Your buddies are like, hey, we should start a band. High school, like, hey, man, we should jam, that type of thing. Those are never auditions. And sometimes a band comes from that. And maybe you play a show or a house party or something. I don't count those. But on all the, what I would consider auditions I've gone on, I've never not gotten the gig. I've auditioned, I think, 6 different times and have been offered the gig every time.
Okay, that's a very good ratio. Now, I'm curious.
It's a pretty good ratio.
I'm curious of what's the normal process of an audition.
Okay,
so like this.
For the audition for the most successful band I was in, which was Blackened, it was kind of loose, but these people took it seriously. But it was loose in that we were cracking jokes and we were trying to break the ice, that type of thing. It wasn't like a cold, like, come in, play a song, goodbye. But it was, what songs do you want to go over? Let's do 5. Pick the 5, go over it. Hey, man, it was nice meeting you guys. Take care. The whole process was probably an hour from start to finish.
Yeah, so it's
including introduction, setup, 5 songs. Here's how to reach me. Keep in touch.
So on their end, they're thinking, we're going to see if he knows these songs. We're going to do some like chemistry stuff, see if we all get along.
Yep.
If he's maybe a nut job, like too crazy even for us. And that's basically about it. See if there's a fit, and we'll talk more potentially.
Right. There was another band I was in before this that wasn't very successful. We only played a handful of shows. The audition was a little looser, a little longer. We probably went over 5 to 7 songs. Even so, we had a list to start from. We went over those songs. Chit-chat was at a minimum. Okay? We got things done. None of the auditions, except for this last one, we'll get to that. I've never been on an audition. I'll put it in your court. Have you ever had a meeting with a producer or like maybe a co-writer, something like that? So like a professional type meeting. And I know, like, when I say professional, there's levels, but I mean, like, you're doing this seriously, right? Have you ever had a meeting with one of these people, maybe to write or maybe just to discuss a project, that one of the people got hammered during, like hammered, and then after the meeting, drunk texted you several times?
No,
because even it doesn't matter what level of professionalism you're at, we agree that there's some no-fly zones, right? Where it's like you're really going to turn people off if you behave that way.
Well, I'll have meetings, sometimes it's at like a public place, like the traditional, like the Starbucks, which I'm like, please, let's stop doing that. But if it's something like that or a Panera Panera Bread. You know, it's like, all right, yeah, I'll get a smoothie or something and we'll talk. But sometimes they'll like, let's go to this bar.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm having a beer. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
I don't
no.
care if it's, dude, I'm having a beer, maybe even two.
Hey, that's seems normal, especially if you're at a bar. I'll say on the band auditions I've been on, everyone that's presented themselves is like, it's me and at least one other person that know each other, that have played together before, looking to add you, right? Looking to add someone in your role. Mm-hmm. None of those has anyone gotten this drunk. Also, they know the songs we're about to go over. They're in the position where what do you want to go over? You tell me. Like,
they're hosting it.
And I don't say you tell me like to be an asshole. I sort of point them in a direction. Sometimes it's easy. If you're auditioning for a Metallica cover band, what Metallica songs do you want to play? Right? That's simple. When you're auditioning for a general cover band and they're still trying to figure out what kind of music you're going to play, whatever, we came to an agreement, 3 songs. Okay, this was last Wednesday. 3 songs. I knew all 3 of them. The bass player guy knew most of all 3 of them. The drummer didn't really know any of them. So I was turned off right away because the bass player's who I was in contact with, and he says, I got this drummer friend of mine. We used to play together. We played shows together. We're trying to get started back up. He's a little rusty, but...
So this isn't an established entity.
Not an entity, right. Just 2 guys that were in a thing before they're starting another thing up.
See.
3 songs, okay? And the songs were Cumbersome by Seven Mary 3, Simple Man by Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. If you've heard any of those songs, none of them are particularly taxing on the drummer. You know, like part-wise.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Billie Jean, you listen to the album, it's really tight. I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point. But it's an easy part to know, okay? It's pretty basic. He tells me, like, right away, as he's setting up the PA for about 20 minutes while I stand there with my guitar strapped on. And he tells me, I'll be honest, I've been really busy. I haven't played any of these songs at all. Okay. We go over some stuff. It kind of feels like that. They're never quite sure, like, how many times has this happened before the next chorus? How does it end? That type of thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So after the first hour, when we played the first song, I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Bass player is good. You know, he's good. Not a traditional bass player, but he's good.
What does that mean?
He started on guitar and switched to bass.
Oh.
So that's hit or miss. Sometimes it's just like basic bitch stuff. Sometimes they actually try and play like a bass player. But he was good. He was pretty good. He was decent. There was just a lot of talk. I mean, it's an audition, and it turned at the end of it. What it really was, Dale, was let's just jam. You want to just jam? When you hear let's just jam, Dale, I'm trying to think. I'm not a screenwriter, so I'm trying to think of a screenwriter equivalent. It's kind of like if someone said, hey, I got this idea for a movie, and then you just know to just walk away.
Well, no. I mean, a lot of times you know. I mean, if it's...
Oh, okay, what about this? Like, hey, I always wanted to write a movie.
I actually love when they say that, because I'm like, oh, okay, you have one sentence, and I get to do whatever I want to do. And that's great. But if it's like another screenwriter, it's like, hey, I want to go over, my script, like workshop it and stuff. It's like, all right, that's a process.
I'm sure there's an equivalent, but in the musician world, when people that don't know how to play jazz say something like, hey, man, well, let's just jam on some stuff, what it really means is I don't know any songs to play to completion, and I don't know what I even want to play, because otherwise you'd have it all straightened out. It was a rough go. And meanwhile, I'm not even really picking up on it, not noticing. The drummer's just double fisting tall Coors Lights. Boom, boom. And I'm like, okay. It's 8 o'clock at this point. We've been playing for about playing for about 2 hours. I've been there for 3 hours.
Right.
I'm like, well, let's wrap this up. We finally played the third song an hour ago. I would like to go home. I established firmly, 8 o'clock, I got to go, guys. At 8 o'clock, drunk drummer says, let's go over the songs one more time. Let's just do it one more time. I know I drink a lot of beer.
I know.
Let's go over the songs one more time. Me and the bass player are like, well, no. And he's like, let's just do it. And he's sitting down at the kit, and he gets the sticks in his hand. So we play the songs again.
Oof.
I got home, I don't know, 9 o'clock. And I was willing, before I left, I said, okay, let's go over these 10 songs that we all kind of knew.
For real this time.
Yeah. Next Wednesday. We'll give you a week. I knew I was going to know them, right? I was going to do my homework and have them down. None of them were particularly hard, and we all kind of knew some of them. By we all, I mean me and the bass player. Then I'm laying down in bed. My phone starts buzzing, and it's buzzing, and it's buzzing, it's buzzing. I look, I've got like fucking 5 drunk texts from this drummer. The first one,
get your number.
Because he's like, I need your number, man, so we can all communicate together in a group text and go over songs and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So he already had it. It was too late, right? And then he does the thing where he's insisting on helping me carry my stuff out, even though I can carry it all in one trip, and he's drunk. And I'm just like, I don't want you to trip and fall and drop it and, like, smash your eye on my amp or whatever. Like, just, okay, we're cool. I got it. Bye. He texts me, I'm so fucked up. I can't believe it. I'm fucked up. I'm still at the rehearsal spot, but I'm just fucked up. Then he texts me again, and it's just a picture of a lady with no top on. I don't know this guy at all. Right?
That's my old lady.
That's definitely not. I can guarantee that. She's a professional, this person in the picture.
Ooh.
Then he sends me another picture. It's a selfie of him in the drive-thru, in the driver's seat, mind you. Him in the drive-thru of a White Castle. Says, I'm guys jealous? I'm getting some sliders. And then the next day, I'm like, this isn't working. It's not gonna. I said, I don't think we're. I said, this is really not what I'm looking for. So
can
sorry.
you read it? Can you read it to me
verbatim?
Yes.
The drunk texts or what I said?
No, what you said. I want to hear how Jim cuts the cord.
Okay. So I got to scroll down a little bit.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of, come on, man, we could get through this.
Okay. Well, the drummer, I'll tell you what. The drummer was saying, he was telling me in his drunkenness, he's not coming back. He is not going to play with us again, man. He's not going to play with us, man. But at that time, I'm like, I'll come back Wednesday and we'll see what happens. After all the drunk texts, I texted the bass player because that's who I had been corresponding with. And I said, does the drummer get that drunk for rehearsals? I said, he drunk texted me a bunch of times. And he says, no, I think he's just excited about the band. And he's like, just give it another chance. Next practice will be, I had to count the zeros, 100,000% better.
Oh.
And I felt bad because the bass player's super stoked. I haven't been this excited about a band ever. And he's like, we're not the best musicians, but we're motivated and we're dedicated. And I was thinking, so here's what I said. I said, yeah, it's not about how well you guys did or didn't play. I said, I've been in a bunch of bands. So we played 6 songs in 4 hours, and then he hit me with some drunk texts. Not a good sign. And then he says, well, I can't blame you if you don't want to come back, but I'd appreciate another chance. That was just me and the bass player. So I said to the drummer and the bass player together, I said, good luck in your search, fellas. This one's not for me. And the drummer knew. The drummer just said, nice meeting you.
Oh.
And then I never heard from the bass player again.
Did you get any texts from the drummer after the night of shame? After his night of shame? Just
him saying, it was nice meeting you.
Oh, I think he knew he fucked up. He was like, oh, God, I texted that man so many times.
It was, and he's telling me about, so we're rehearsing in this spot. One of the guys my age, the bass player's my age, drummer's a little older, but not much older. They're both around the age where I could believably think that the guy's house that we were at was one of their dads. Turns out it's just an old guy that they know. And he lets them rehearse in their basement. And party down there. The drummer said, yeah, and we party down here. And I'm just thinking, I think he sees this more as an outlet.
Yeah, I was going to ask if this was like a middle-age, midlife, getting away from the old ball and chain, playing with the boys.
That was some of that. Another thing that put me off is I've played with people that are sort of like, look, I'm not that great. I'm just looking to have some fun. I get it. That's cool. I understand. He kept saying how serious he was and like, I really want to make some money. I spent all this money on this PA equipment. We're going to play some shows. We're going to get some money. We're going to get some chicks dancing and bouncing their titties, like that type of thing.
Who said this? Drummer?
And I'm like,
Get their titties.
I don't think so. You couldn't learn 3 songs. So I knew at this point he couldn't learn the 3 songs we agreed on. Just didn't have time. Too busy. Then you're too busy to do this. Seriously. You just are. You can't do it seriously if you're too busy to learn 3 songs.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like there are a lot of red flags, like immediately. Okay, he doesn't know that. He didn't practice. There's a lot of alcohol. There's a little too much socializing.
Yeah. And the bass player did get
scheduling.
drunk. But he starts busting out videos of like, this is us playing 2008, just so you know that we know how to play. Like, sure. And then the music, like what we agreed on musically, we're texting back and forth like, let's do some dancier stuff, but like stuff that's cool. Let's like, we could do Uptown Funk. We could do some Michael Jackson, some Prince. I'm like, hey, I know some Montel Jordan. You know, we're throwing that stuff around, you know, like stuff people want to, you know, get up and dance to, party, whatever. Cool. But like stuff that I enjoy listening to. Then he hits me like, we're there. And the bass player's like, yeah, and we could play some Puddle of Mud. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
And then he keeps playing this bass line to Rearranged by Limp Bizkit. You know, it's like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, yeah, I know the bass line. I'm just going to keep ignoring it. Like, I hear you playing it, and I think he's trying to get me like, hey, is that Limp Bizkit you're playing? And I just keep ignoring it.
Oh,
he played it like 3 different times during the night, and I just ignored it. I'm like, no.
Was he trying to like cue you in, like join me, friend?
Maybe.
I'm doing the intro. Join in.
It's just not my like the people that were actually there. It wasn't what I had in mind, and it wasn't what it seemed like it was going to be based on the text we were throwing back and forth about stuff like music. It's just weird. And they were really friendly, like nice dudes. So I felt bad. And it's just weird to, I don't know, I'm too polite and I want to make, like, I don't want to make people upset. So I probably stayed too long. Like, I probably should have left sooner.
Yeah, just pretend it's D&D and just bail immediately after.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with that?
No, I'm just saying you don't have a problem doing it then.
Why would I? Well, no,
strangers.
There was the end of this took too long to get there. I mean, like in the middle, like, look, guys, this isn't working out. Bye.
Oh God, yeah, that's too. I couldn't do that.
I know, but I probably should have. You know.
Oh, I'd love that though.
I probably should have. It would have been like I was like, botch. Well, I've got advantage. Botch. I'm leaving.
Like, that would have been that's the play where you just can't get it. You start playing with your knuckles.
Yeah, like this ain't gonna work, guys. I see. I can't play. I'm not.
Then you say, "Ain't I great?"
The worst part, you're thinking to yourself, There's a worse part than this. The drummer kept telling me, "Well, what else do you know?" And we'd start playing a song that I knew, and then he wouldn't.
What do you know?
He couldn't play it. We tried to play "Use Me" by Bill Withers. He's like, "That's a little tricky on the drums." Okay. And then I'm like, well, I just bust into "This Is How We Do It." I'm like, you know that song, right? Yeah, everyone knows how that goes. Bass player is like, I'm like, it's 2 notes. Like, it's just F, F sharp. You can throw an E in there if you want. That's all you got to do. F to F sharp. And he's like, cool. Then we played it, all the way through, essentially. I didn't do the rapping part because I normally played acoustic. Then they start playing All Along the Watchtower. I'm like, I really don't know the words. And the drummer's like, you're going to have to know words of songs, man, if we're going to take this seriously. I'm looking around for the hidden camera.
Picking his spots.
I'm like, okie doke. I'm like, yeah, well, I could play this right now. I don't really know all the words. So I just start singing the words that I remembered. You know, there must be some kind of way out of here. I just started singing what I knew, right? So then we play this, get to the solo, and I just do whatever. And then, so like everything they threw at me, I was like, okay, yeah, I'd pick it up right away. The only thing was I don't know the words to all these songs because we didn't agree upon them ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And I tried to convey that, like, yeah, once we pick a set list, I will know the words to the songs we're going to play. He's like, because we had a guy that had the sheet music in front. I'm like, that's not going to happen. Don't worry. I've played several hundred shows without a teleprompter. It'll be okay. But I was just like quasi-insulted. And then we started jamming, and they're just like talking, and I'm jamming. And then I start doing like some sick shit on the guitar. Like nothing no one's ever done before. Not like that sick. But I'm like, damn. And I'm looking around. I'm like, did they even see that sick shit I just did? Did they even? I just did some sick They're just shit. Talking. They keep talking about like the house parties they played. I'm like, okay.
Titties.
I'm just thinking, they didn't even pick up on that sick shit. Okay. Well, was moving right along then. It was 4 hours for 3 songs.
That's not efficient.
No, it's not efficient, and it's sort of like rude. And it's not you're not getting off to a good. You're not getting off to a good start because I don't. At one point, the bass player said, "Look, you know, I didn't really go over these too much either because you know how auditions are. You know, people come in, they're not prepared." And I'm thinking, like you right now, like I learned the goddamn songs as the auditioner. Or auditionee. I don't know which way is the right way. The person holding the audition, you got to know the songs. If the other person doesn't, that's on them. And I know you get burned a lot on that, where the people they don't know it all well, or they're nervous, or they only learned half of what you agreed to go over. But you got to know all of it. Because if you go in and you're trying to audition somebody, let's say that they were somewhat of an established bar band or something, and I go in there, I'm like, look, these dudes didn't know shit. I know other guitarists and other musicians, and that word is going to get around. Like, these guys didn't even bother to learn the songs I agreed to learn for the audition.
Yeah.
If that had happened with Blackened, I'd have just bailed. That never would have been a thing. Going into an audition, I say to myself these things. If they're efficient, if we go song, and they don't make excuses, I don't want to hear excuses. I'm the one auditioning. I won't make excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. And if the drummer is solid time-wise, this will work. The drummer wasn't all over the place sloppy. He just didn't know the parts. So he didn't know what parts of the songs went where. But as soon like I'm tired, I haven't had time to practice, we're really rusty. I don't ever want to hear that fucking shit in my life. I don't want to hear it, okay? When I've been on other auditions, no one ever came with that shit. And there's been times where they're like, where I start playing and they start playing, and we all kind of know, like, we're not in the same place here, but maybe we can make it work. But nobody says, like, oh, you know, the stick slipped out of my hand, or I didn't get sleep last night, that's why I forgot. I know you forgot the part. Let's just try it again. I don't want to hear why you forgot it. It doesn't matter. You know, all the Blackened rehearsals I had, no one ever made, well, one person did make excuses. That person's no longer in the band. But the core originals and no one made excuses. If you fuck up a part, you're like, I know, I should have known that part. Or you just do it again. Like, can we just do it again? Or you cut your losses and you say, I'm going to have to listen to that at home. I like that one part. I'm gonna have to go over more because it's just not. It's not working how it was working at when I was practicing at home.
And that's probably better.
Move on. Yeah, you get back to it. These guys were just all over with the excuses. It made me angry. I just want to play some shows with people, Dale. I just want to go play some fun music and sing some songs. I was looking forward to it because I was auditioning to be the guitarist and singer of this band, which is a first. I've auditioned to be a guitar player.
You're going to have to know the words to those songs, Jim.
I know. It's a problem for me. I've done guitar. I've done singing. I've never auditioned to be both. So I was like, okay, let's see how this is going to work. And I was sort of looking forward to that role and that challenge, and it just kind of fell apart. And unfortunately, the bass player knows people I know.
Yikes.
Yeah, and it's just like...
what does that mean? Like you're going to cross paths?
It wouldn't be impossible for us to cross paths again.
Like a bad one-night stand, just meeting at the bar, like, how are you?
Sort of, but he knows. I think maybe deep down...
How's Jerry? Jerry's still good with the sticks.
I think he's probably more disappointed. I think he knows what happened and what cost him the audition of me auditioning them. And he's probably just not happy about it because they're locked at the hip. They've known each other forever. That he ain't getting rid of that guy, you know. But yeah, it makes sense why this thing hasn't been a constant thing this whole time. Yeah, it was. I was shocked at how unprofessional the whole situation was.
That was a Craigslist one?
No, that was the paid site.
Oh my!
They paid money to contact me through Bandmix. And, man, it just, it felt good at first. Like the vibe, texting and sort of like when I first walked in and meeting them, we're setting up. And then it just fell off the deep end.
They just went Christian Bale. Like, you're nice guys, but we're fucking done professionally. I'll party with you, Jerry. Give me one of those Coors Lights.
And another shitty part is he didn't offer me a Coors Light the whole goddamn time.
What the fuck?
The 30-pack was behind. He had to keep walking past me to grab 2 tall boys every time and never once offered me one.
That's terrible. Like this whole time you've been talking, I'm trying to tie it together in a way I understand it. And it sounds like they're hosting. They're hosting an audition. So it's almost like you're hosting a dinner party. And as a good host, well, I should be there at the start time. So when people come knocking, they can come in. I told them the set list. I told them there was going to be dinner. I should have dinner. It's like, I thought you were going to have food. Well, I don't have food. Well, you said there was going to be food. It's like you just do the fucking things. Show up on time. Have your things plugged in. Do the things. Share your fucking beer.
Yeah, I was just disappointed more than anything.
I'm disappointed.
I really wanted to play with these guys.
Tall boys.
And then he's drunk by the end. And you know how people get when they're getting drunk, right? Like they keep repeating stuff. They keep telling you like, I know what you're thinking, man. I'm drunk, but I get drunk, man. I drink a lot of beer. I'm good at it. Like, oh man.
I'm so
like
good.
You start showing everyone your ass. You're showing your ass to everyone when you're drunk. That's not how you want to have someone leave an audition.
First impressions, Maybe like the third audition, you'd learn like, I'm in too deep, but this drummer's a fucking alcoholic. I just found it out.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no, it can't go any further. After the drunk texts, I'm like, what's next? A picture of him like banging some chick,
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't get me in trouble at home, but my wife would say like, why are you playing with these guys? And I'd go, I don't, because I'm sad inside. I don't know. Like, it would be like being in an abusive relationship or something. And drunks never know their shit. I've never been in a band with a drunk in my life, because those bands don't work. And I'm sorry, if it's a random weeknight and you're pounding beers at some dude's basement, and then you go drunk driving to White Castle, you probably got a problem. I don't think people do that on the reg.
There's a reason White Castle has the wide drive-through lane
Yeah.
because they know their clientele's drinking. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Jim will not be joining Stained, not this year. Stained still looking.
It's been a while.
Now, did they have a name?
Nope.
Damn it! I knew you weren't going to tell me, but I was gonna, as soon as we stopped recording, I was like, "Toby, the name of that fucking band."
Yeah, no, they really don't. They really don't have a name.
Did they workshop that with you? Like, hey, what do you think? We're thinking this for name, like the Flying Batman.
No. But when they threw me "Simple Man" by Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'm like, cool. We got Michael Jackson, we got Lynyrd Skynyrd, we got "Cumbersome," which is a cool song from the '90s. So I'm thinking like "Everlong" by the Foo Fighters. Maybe we could throw in like some Cream, some Eric Clapton or something. Not Creed. But like, okay, so they want to do like classic rocky stuff and like some R&B and some pop, and then they started just throwing out like Seether and fucking, we played this Nickelback song once, and I'm like,
oh
God,
yeah,
damn guys, making this terrible for me. Like this, it's one thing if it's your job, if it's like, yeah, I make tons of money playing Nickelback. We weren't going to make tons of money playing anything. So why not? We might as well play stuff we enjoy playing.
They enjoyed that.
I do not. And if that had come up in text, I'd be like, oh, good luck in your search.
It was nice meeting you.
You know to keep the Nickelback in the closet. Yeah.
It was nice meeting you. That might be the title of this episode.
It was nice meeting you. And you know what I said to that? Same.
Oh, jeez.
I said
cold.
Same. What else am I going to say? And then I never heard from any of them since then. I don't blame them.
You should have put "learn to share your beers, you motherfucker."
At least offer me one or what have you. Because, don't you want to know if I'm also an alcoholic?
Yeah, maybe that was the test for you to say, hey, can I get one of those beers? They're going to say, Jerry, we got an alky. Get him out.
And I told him, like, he's like, you got a problem with me drinking? I'm like, no. I was like, I drink. But then he started drunk texting me all night.
That out? No, it's fine. I drink. Jim looks to the 30-pack.
Yeah, it's the 30-pack that's 6 inches from my ass.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
Well, the hunt continues.
The hunt continues. Man, if you just give me a drummer. Anyone out there, you got a drummer, just let me know. I can make the rest fall into place.
Yeah. I mean, maybe fucking Zach is busy watching Jeff Jarrett matches. Maybe he knows somebody. Zach,
And I started playing this John Mayer song, and they're like, sort of like, oh, John Mayer. I'm like, hold on a second. You're talking about playing fucking Nickelback and Puddle of Mud? And then you're going to give me shit for playing John Mayer song?
Now, here's the thing. So you're saying this isn't soft. Your thing is soft. Where would Dave Matthews Band fall on that?
It's not about soft. It's about It's about like quality. Like,
where does Dave
talent.
Matthews Band fall on that scale?
They're a little hippier. Like not hipper, like hippier. A little more hippie. But really good band. Like really talented musicians. So like not Puddle of Mud at all.
Just tearing into some. Cut my life into pieces.
Some Papa Roach.
Oh man, he wanted to. He was doing the fucking bass line for you. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was freshman year or sophomore year of high school. One of those garage bands I was in. We played Last Resort.
Still a banger. Gets me pumped.
It's a banger. Yeah, sure. That song's fine, but I don't really like any of the Puddle of Mud songs.
I couldn't tell you the name of any of them. I'm sure I've heard him on like Madden 96 or some such shit, or 2000.
Yeah, it was at like it was the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002. If I played him for you, you'd know him. It's just, oh God, it's rough out there. It's hard out there, Dale. It's hard.
It's hard. It's very, very hard. Next week, let's talk. I have some Friday the 13th news that you'll be very interested in. They're making a lot of cool movies that are remakes and sequels that I want to go over. One of them is Cobra Kai, which is this
YouTube
Karate
Red
Kid
or whatever.
some sort of web series. I want to get into that fucking trailer.
I'm super excited for that. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I've mixed thoughts, and I'll.
It's just a nostalgia thing. We'll get into it in depth, but I'm just being honest with my feelings.
Mm-hmm. It probably felt good when you saw him. But we'll do that. Any plugs before we get out of here?
Not right now. Drummer. A drummer, like a drummer that has played a gig, like professionally.
If anybody has a Coors Light that they
if you know how to count to 4, if you know that an F sharp is higher than an E, hit me up. You're one step ahead of the game.
This was episode 8. Thanks for listening. I'm Karen Jarrett.
I'm the alpha male.
That could have been their band name, the Ultra Males.
Yeah, could have been. Could still be. I'll never know.